But first, we're very excited to bring in, you may know him, especially if you're an Expos fan, Tim Raines. How are you?
Absolutely.
Good to see you.
See, before you could smell what The Rock was cooking, Dwayne Johnson, with all due respect, the original Rock is in the house. Tim Raines. Come on, you are the original Rock, right?
Definitely the original Rock.
You want to give everybody a smell what The Rock is cooking?
Well, that's his stuff.
That's his stuff.
That's his. I don't want to steal any his thunder, but.
And I should say your title now too, the roving outfield and base running coach for the Blue Jays.
Yes. Very excited about it. I mean, last year was my first year, second year going, and looking forward for a good season for all my guys.
Now, I don't know if James wants to admit it, but driving in this morning, we were talking about you coming on the show because we were very excited, and he grew up a big Expos fan, and he was kind of geeking out a little bit in the car. It was slightly embarrassing.
Totally. I mean, look, in my books, this guy, and I think there's a lot of Canadian baseball fans across the country watching right now that would say, you are a Hall of Famer. And in my books, you're a Hall of Famer in my book, and I really hope that at some point in time down the road that Cooperstown welcomes you with open arms because, I mean, you look at the numbers. I mean, in the 1980s, you're talking about, when you talk about catalysts, you talk about instant offense, over 800 stolen bases. If there is something that this guy can teach, this guy wrote the book on it back in the 1980s. And we know we talk about Ricky Henderson, but this guy was just as good. Do you see Cooperstown in the cards one day?
Well, hopefully. You know, I've been on the ballot now for 6 years, and it's been going up and down. And I'm actually optimistic about it. Hopefully, you know,
feel like you put a pretty good case.
I have 9 more years, and you know, hopefully one day that will count.
Here's hoping, yeah.
Yes.
Now, baseball is returning to Montreal just because the Jays, they're going to be doing an exhibition game there. You know what it's like. What do you think you can expect from the fans there?
A lot of excitement. I remember the years I was there. Definitely excitement about baseball. I'm sure we wish that things wouldn't happen the way it did back in '04, but hopefully they can bring that excitement back and hopefully get Major League Baseball back there again.
There is a movement from one of your former teammates, Warren Cromartie, trying to push a return to baseball in Montreal. We've heard a lot of baseball opinions, and they seem to be growing more and more over the last year or so, that Montreal seems to be a destination again for Major League Baseball. Do you see it? Do you see it happening?
I certainly hope so. I mean, I don't know if it would happen, but I think it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot of money, one.
A new stadium.
And hopefully Major League Baseball allow them to come back. But, you know, I grew up in Montreal, and those were the most exciting years of my career, and it pretty much put me on the map, playing in Montreal. So hopefully that we can get baseball back there because I really feel like they deserve it.
Okay, we know you for your base running, the steal. So, if you can give us the secret, what is the art of the steal?
Well, pretty much knowing what you're doing out there, knowing who's on the mound a lot of times help. Speed definitely helps.
You still got the speed?
Not right now, but you know, back in the day I did, but not anymore. I'm not really thinking about stealing any bases no time soon. But I think you know, knowing times from pitchers, knowing catchers. You know, and those type of things we have in the big leagues. We have all those scouting reports that helps us out. So, and really believing in yourself that you can do these things. I mean, everybody in the ballpark knows you're going to run, and when you can pull it off, it's pretty exciting.
Maybe a two-part question for you here, but who in your mind is the best base runner on this team? And who's the guy that you're looking at on this roster for the Blue Jays in 2014 that you're most amped up to just work with?
Well, Reyes won, and hopefully he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, last year wasn't a healthy year for him, and you know, he's been a prominent base stealer over his career. Injuries has slowed him down a little bit, but he's the one that I'm looking forward to do a lot of exciting things on the base paths. It might be some sleepers, you know, you don't know. There are going to be some times, and we're going to be working on a lot of stuff as far as the base running is concerned. And maybe we can steal some on the back end sometimes, and there are going to be some guys that maybe don't run much and might start running a little bit this year. So I don't want to tell any secrets right now, but hopefully we'll have a few more bases this year.
Hey, before we let you go, Alex Anthopoulos, the general manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, grew up in Montreal.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, like, well, Cameron over here was pointing out that I was an old Expos nerd back
I
in
think
the day.
I used the word geeking out.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many times does Alex Anthopoulos, how often does Double A geek out with you and say, hey, what was Gary Carter really like? Or what was the Hawk really like? Do you get a lot of that from Anthopoulos?
No, I haven't gotten that yet.
You haven't got it
He's
yet?
keeping it cool?
Well, I don't see him much because I'm in the background a lot.
okay.
I'm not really around the big
Yeah.
league team as much, but hopefully one day I would like to hear him come to me and ask those questions. I'll be glad to answer them.
Well, thanks very much. It was a thrill to have you here on the set. That's Tim Raines, everyone, an Expo legend. Now I'll get you away from Sabalski. I apologize.
Thanks,
You can be
Tim.
kind
Much
of
appreciated, man.
Appreciate it.
The Rock,
Thank you.
come on,
Nice
there we
meeting you
go.
guys.